Here are Grandma's 42 flour hacks you didn't know worked. Discourage mice. Did you know that flour can be used to help discourage mice from invading your home? By mixing flour with plaster of Paris and placing small amounts in areas where mice frequent, you create an effective deterrent. When consumed, the mixture hardens in their digestive system, naturally reducing infestations. Grandma often relied on this trick to keep her pantry mouse-free without using harmful chemicals. Place small bowls in dark corners or near entry points for best results. Dry hand cleaner. Flour works as a surprisingly effective dry hand cleaner when soap and water aren't available. Its fine texture absorbs grease, oil, and grime from your skin. Simply rub a handful of flour onto your hands, focusing on areas with stubborn dirt. Once the flour clumps up with the grime, brush it off and wipe with a clean cloth. This hack is perfect for quick cleanups in the kitchen or after handling oily foods like butter or dough. Soothe bug bites. Grandma always had an easy remedy for bug bites: flour and water paste. When mixed into a thick consistency, flour helps reduce itching and inflammation by creating a cooling barrier over the skin. Apply the paste directly to the bite and let it dry before rinsing off with cool water. The flour helps absorb excess moisture and provides relief from irritation. Keep a small jar of flour in your bathroom for quick relief from pesky bites. Face powder alternative. Flour can double as a natural face powder, absorbing excess oil and leaving the skin with a matte finish. Lightly dust a small amount onto your face using a soft brush or cotton pad, focusing on oily areas like the forehead and nose. It helps keep makeup in place while giving your skin a smooth, shine-free appearance. Choose finely sifted flour to avoid clumps, and for a pleasant scent, mix it with a bit of cornstarch or ground oats. Stop nosebleeds. Did you know that flour can help stop a minor nosebleed? Gently apply a small pinch of flour to a cotton ball and place it inside the affected nostril. The flour absorbs moisture and encourages the blood to clot faster, providing relief within minutes. Grandma used this hack when a sudden nosebleed struck, and it worked like a charm. Lean forward slightly while applying pressure to ensure the best results without discomfort. Keep baking pans non-stick. Flour creates a natural non-stick barrier on baking pans, helping baked goods release effortlessly. When combined with grease, it forms a light coating that prevents batter from clinging to the pan's surface. Start by applying a thin layer of butter or oil, then evenly dust flour over it, tapping out any excess. This technique works particularly well for cakes and bread. A well-prepped pan ensures even baking and an easy release. Natural pesticide for aphids. Aphids can wreak havoc on plants, but flour offers a simple, chemical-free solution. The fine particles dehydrate the tiny pests, ultimately deterring them from feeding on leaves and stems. Lightly dust the affected plants with flour, ensuring even coverage on both sides of the leaves. Do this early in the morning when dew helps the flour stick. After a couple of days, rinse the plants to remove any residue and repeat if necessary. Homemade glue. Making glue with flour is a time-tested solution that relies on its thickening properties when mixed with water. The starch in flour forms a strong bond once it dries, making it perfect for paper and craft projects. To prepare, mix 1 part flour with 2 parts water, heating the mixture over low heat until it thickens. Let it cool before applying. This homemade glue is not only non-toxic but also cost-effective and easy to make. Trap fruit flies. Dealing with fruit flies is easier than you think with a simple flour-based trap. Flour thickens the liquid bait, making it harder for the flies to escape once they enter. Combine equal parts flour and apple cider vinegar with a drop of dish soap in a bowl. Set the trap near fruit bowls or garbage bins. Over time, the mixture will attract and trap the flies, keeping your kitchen bug-free with minimal effort. Absorb oil from paper documents. Flour can effectively absorb oil from paper documents by drawing out the grease particles. Its fine texture allows it to soak up moisture without damaging the paper. Sprinkle a small amount of flour onto the stain, pressing it gently to cover the entire area. Let it sit for a few hours or overnight to absorb the oil fully. Once done, carefully brush off the excess flour and repeat the process for tougher stains. Extend meat portions. Stretching meat portions without sacrificing taste is possible with the help of flour. When combined with ground meat, flour adds bulk and helps retain moisture during cooking. Grandma would often do this to stretch the family budget too. Mix a tablespoon or two of flour per pound of ground meat before shaping into patties, meatballs, or meatloaf. This technique not only makes meals more budget-friendly, but also provides a tender texture. Adding seasonings enhances the flavor while maintaining a satisfying bite. Absorb odors in shoes. Flour can act as a natural deodorizer by absorbing moisture and odor-causing bacteria inside shoes. Its fine particles effectively trap excess moisture, which helps prevent unpleasant smells from developing. To use, sprinkle a generous amount of flour into the shoes, ensuring even coverage, and leave it overnight. Shake out the excess flour the next day and enjoy fresher footwear. For added freshness, mix the flour with a few drops of essential oil before applying. Fertilize herb gardens. Flour, especially whole grain varieties, can provide essential nutrients to herb gardens. As flour breaks down in the soil, it releases small amounts of nitrogen, promoting healthy plant growth. Sprinkle a thin layer of flour around the base of herbs, gently mixing it into the soil to prevent clumping. Water the plants thoroughly after applying to help the flour integrate into the soil. This natural fertilizer boosts plant vitality without the need for chemical additives. Furniture, scratch repair. Flour can help disguise minor scratches on wooden furniture by filling in small crevices and blending with the wood's natural finish. The fine texture of flour allows it to settle into scratches, making imperfections less visible. Mix flour with a bit of vegetable oil to create a paste, then gently rub it into the scratch using a soft cloth. Wipe away excess paste and buff the area lightly. For deeper scratches, repeat the process for better results. Enhance flavors. Using flour in cooking does more than just thicken sauces. It can enhance flavors by helping spices and seasonings adhere better to food. When lightly dusted onto meats or vegetables before cooking, it creates a surface that absorbs flavors more effectively. Try adding a sprinkle of flour when seasoning dishes to achieve a more even distribution of flavor. This method works especially well for fried foods, roasted vegetables, and slow-cooked meals. Relieve burns. Flour can provide quick relief for minor burns by absorbing heat and preventing further irritation. Its fine texture creates a barrier that helps protect the skin while drawing out excess heat. Gently dust a light layer of flour over the affected area, ensuring it's completely covered. Leave it on for several minutes before rinsing with cool water. Flour is a handy natural remedy when immediate cooling is needed, and it works best for mild kitchen burns. Homemade roux. A good roux is the secret to rich, flavorful sauces and gravies, according to Grandma. When flour is cooked with fat, it creates a thickening agent that enhances both texture and taste. Heat equal parts flour and butter or oil in a pan over low heat, stirring constantly until the mixture turns golden brown. The longer it cooks, the deeper the flavor. Use roux to thicken soups, stews, and casseroles for a hearty, satisfying consistency. Create popular Asian street food. Flour is the foundation of many beloved Asian street foods, from crispy scallion pancakes to steamed buns. The gluten in flour gives dough the elasticity needed to create chewy, crispy, or fluffy textures. Mix flour with water and a pinch of salt to form a simple dough, then roll and shape it to match your desired dish. Experimenting with fillings like meat, vegetables, or sweet bean paste adds a delicious twist to traditional recipes. Homemade pancake mix. Making your own pancake mix with flour ensures a fresher and more customizable breakfast option. Combine flour with baking powder, sugar, and a pinch of salt, then store the mixture in an airtight container for easy use. When ready to cook, just add eggs, milk, and oil for a quick batter. This DIY mix allows you to control ingredients, avoiding preservatives found in store-bought versions. Add vanilla or cinnamon for an extra flavor boost. Crisp up pie crusts. Flour plays a crucial role in achieving a perfectly crisp pie crust by creating a light, flaky texture. When flour is mixed with fat and cold water, it forms gluten strands that help maintain structure while baking. Dust a bit of flour onto the dough surface while rolling to prevent sticking and enhance crispness. For an even crunchier crust, brush the top with an egg wash and a sprinkle of sugar before baking. Carpet cleaner. Flour can be a surprisingly effective way to lift grease and oil stains from carpets. Its fine texture absorbs moisture and draws out oils trapped in the fibers. To use, sprinkle a generous amount of flour over the stained area and let it sit for at least 30 minutes, allowing it to absorb the grease. Once the flour has done its job, vacuum it up thoroughly. Repeat the process for stubborn stains and enjoy a fresher-looking carpet. Prevent dough from sticking. A light dusting of flour on your work surface can prevent dough from sticking while kneading or rolling. The flour creates a dry barrier that reduces the dough's natural moisture from bonding to countertops or rolling pins. Sprinkle an even layer on the surface before working with dough and add more as needed without over-flouring. For a smoother process, flour your hands as well. Using just enough flour ensures the dough remains pliable without becoming too dry. Make fried food crispier. Achieving a perfect crunch in fried foods is easy with flour. When used as part of a breading mixture, flour coats food evenly and crisps up beautifully when exposed to heat. The starch in flour absorbs moisture and creates a golden, crunchy crust. Dredge your food in seasoned flour before frying, ensuring a light and even coating. For extra crunch, combine flour with cornstarch or baking powder before frying to create a delicate, airy texture. Ripen avocados faster. Flour can speed up the ripening process of avocados by trapping ethylene gas, which naturally ripens fruit. Simply place an unripe avocado in a paper bag and cover it with flour, then seal the bag. The flour helps maintain the right balance of moisture while preventing the avocado from over-ripening. Check the fruit after 24 hours for softness. This method is perfect when you need ripe avocados quickly for guacamole or salads. Thicken sauces and gravies. Flour is a classic thickening agent that enhances the consistency of sauces and gravies. When heated, the starch molecules in flour absorb liquid and expand, creating a smooth, velvety texture. To thicken, whisk flour with a small amount of cold water to make a slurry, then gradually stir it into the hot sauce or gravy. Simmer until it reaches the desired thickness, stirring constantly to prevent lumps. Add gradually to avoid over-thickening. Prevent plant diseases. Flour can serve as a natural defense against plant diseases by creating a protective barrier on leaves. The fine powder helps absorb excess moisture, which can reduce the growth of fungi and mildew. To apply, lightly dust flour over the plant's leaves early in the morning when they are damp with dew, allowing it to adhere better. Repeat every few days, especially in humid conditions. Mixing flour with a bit of powdered milk can enhance its effectiveness. Dry skin treatment. Flour can act as a gentle exfoliant and moisture absorber, making it an easy remedy for dry skin. The starch in flour helps to remove dead skin cells while providing a softening effect. Mix flour with a little honey and milk to create a nourishing paste. Then apply it to dry areas and let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes before rinsing. Regular use can leave the skin feeling softer and more hydrated without harsh chemicals. Prevent weevil infestations. Weevils are a common pantry pest, but flour can be used as a preventative measure to keep them away from stored grains. Sprinkling a fine layer of flour around pantry shelves and storage containers can deter weevils from invading. Another effective method is storing flour in the freezer for a few days before placing it in the pantry, which kills any existing eggs. Keeping flour in airtight containers also prevents infestations and extends shelf life. Deer deterrent. Flour can help deter deer from munching on your garden plants. By creating an unappealing texture and scent on leaves, sprinkle a light coating of flour on foliage, focusing on plants that deer typically target, such as hostas and vegetables. The powder clings to the leaves and makes them less appetizing. Reapply after rain or heavy dew for continued protection. Adding crushed garlic or chili powder to the flour mix can make it even more effective. Degrease pots and pans. Flour is an excellent natural way to absorb grease and clean stubborn residue from pots and pans. Its fine texture helps lift oil without spreading it around, making cleanup easier. Sprinkle flour over greasy surfaces. Let it sit for a few minutes to absorb the grease, then wipe away with a paper towel or cloth. Wash the pan with warm, soapy water afterward. This method works well on cast iron and stainless steel cookware. Keep slugs away. Flour can be an effective barrier to keep slugs away from your garden plants. The fine, powdery texture absorbs moisture from the slug's body, making it difficult for them to move across treated areas. Sprinkle a thin line of flour around the base of plants, creating a protective perimeter. Reapply after heavy rain or watering for continued protection. For an extra deterrent, mix flour with crushed eggshells to create an even more abrasive barrier. Homemade Play-Doh. Flour is the main ingredient in creating soft, pliable, homemade Play-Doh that's safe for kids. The gluten in flour provides elasticity, allowing the dough to stretch and mold easily. Mix 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, and water until a smooth consistency is achieved. Add food coloring for a fun touch. Store the dough in an airtight container to keep it fresh and ready for playtime. Cockroach deterrent. Using flour as part of a natural cockroach deterrent is an effective and safe alternative to chemicals. Combine equal parts flour, sugar, and baking soda. Then sprinkle the mixture in areas where roaches are commonly seen. The sugar attracts them, while the baking soda reacts with their digestive system. Place small amounts near baseboards, under sinks, and in dark corners. Refresh the mixture every few days to maintain effectiveness and prevent infestations. Calm a heat rash. Flour's natural absorbent properties make it a soothing remedy for heat rash. It helps to reduce moisture and irritation by creating a protective barrier over the affected area. Mix flour with a little cool water to form a gentle paste and apply it to the rash, allowing it to sit for 10 to 15 minutes before rinsing with cool water. Pat the skin dry afterward. Reapplying a light dusting of flour can help keep the skin dry and comfortable. Stop ant invasions. Flour can act as a simple yet effective deterrent to stop ant invasions in your home. The powder disrupts the scent trails ants follow, making it difficult for them to navigate. Sprinkle a fine line of flour along entry points such as windowsills, doorways, and cracks. For better results, combine flour with salt or cinnamon to enhance its repelling properties. Keep the area dry to maintain the flour barrier for an extended period. Encourage earthworm activity. Did you know that sprinkling flour in your garden can attract beneficial earthworms? As flour breaks down in the soil, it provides an easily digestible food source that encourages earthworms to thrive. Simply sprinkle a thin layer over your garden bed and water it lightly to help it integrate into the soil. The decomposing flour stimulates microbial activity, which in turn attracts more worms. For the best results, avoid using too much flour to prevent soil clumping. Silver polish substitute. Flour can be a gentle yet effective solution for polishing tarnished silver. Its fine texture works as a mild abrasive, lifting dirt and restoring shine without causing scratches. To make a homemade polish, combine flour, baking soda, and water to create a paste. Apply the mixture to silver surfaces with a soft cloth, rubbing gently in circular motions. Once dry, rinse thoroughly and buff to a gleaming finish. This natural polish is safe for heirloom items. Homemade seed tape. A simple flour paste can help you create your own seed tape for perfectly spaced planting. The sticky properties of flour hold seeds in place, ensuring even distribution in the garden. To make seed tape, mix flour with water to form a thick paste, then dot it onto strips of biodegradable paper. Press seeds onto the paste and let them dry before planting. This method simplifies planting and ensures seeds stay exactly where they should. Soak up kitchen spills. Flour is a quick fix for absorbing spills in the kitchen. Grandma would often use this as the starch in flour acts like a sponge, pulling in liquid and oil, making cleanup easier. Sprinkle a generous amount of flour over the spill, allowing it to sit for a few minutes to absorb moisture fully. Sweep or wipe away the flour, and the surface will be left clean and dry. This hack works especially well on greasy messes like cooking oil or melted butter. Whiten underarms naturally. Did you know that flour can be an effective natural remedy for whitening underarms? Its absorbent properties help remove excess oil and sweat, while its gentle exfoliating effect sloughs off dead skin cells that can cause darkening. To create a brightening paste, mix flour with lemon juice and a little yogurt, applying it to the underarm area for 10 to 15 minutes before rinsing. Repeat this process a few times a week for noticeable results. Moisturize afterward to maintain softness and hydration. Homemade dry shampoo. Flour works as an excellent homemade dry shampoo by absorbing excess oil from the scalp and adding volume to hair. The fine particles of flour help soak up sebum, leaving hair feeling fresher and lighter. Sprinkle a small amount onto your roots, then use your fingers or a brush to distribute it evenly. Let it sit for a minute or two before brushing out any excess. For a fragrant touch, mix in a bit of cocoa powder or essential oil. Non-toxic insect repellent. Using flour as a base for a non-toxic insect repellent can help keep unwanted pests away without harmful chemicals. Flour can be mixed with essential oils like peppermint or lavender, which naturally repel insects while the flour acts as a carrier. Sprinkle the mixture around windows, doorways, or even outdoor seating areas to deter bugs. Reapply after rain or heavy wind for continued protection. This natural remedy is safe for homes with children and pets. For more contents like this, click here to subscribe.